Hi, I'm Patrick McEnroe. Come along as we take a look at some of the innovative ways tennis, sized just right for kids, is making a positive impact on the way kids, parents, and coaches are getting into this great game. You can see how youth tennis, equipment, courts, and new teaching techniques are fast becoming the most powerful tools for getting more kids to be playing even better tennis. And with a dramatic increase in youth participation, we can see that kids just love it. We'll show you more first-hand stories of how these methods are making it easier for kids to start playing amazing tennis even sooner. And when young players can glimpse what's possible, it can be all it takes to ignite a lifetime of passion for playing, learning, and of course, competing. When introducing kids to tennis, we found that we get amazing results by getting them started with equipment sized right for them. Look, at the end of the day, if the kids are having fun and they're learning, they're going to stick with the game. Kids are introduced to other sports like basketball, baseball, or soccer in kid-sized environments. Doing the same in tennis just makes sense. Kids play on two different size courts with balls that bounce lower and move slower before progressing to the full-size court. This allows the kids to develop control, balance, and to build up their accuracy and, most importantly, their confidence. Before players even pick up a racket, it's important that they develop the basic athletic skills to support their game. Rolling, tossing, throwing, and catching can be tough for young kids, but they're the essential building blocks for strong tennis players. You see coaches interacting on court with kids. They're getting better faster because they're actually getting more one-on-one attention than the old way of teaching. And the increase in youth tennis programs is proof that this new format works phenomenally well.
All the kids are engaged. Everybody starts, everybody finishes. These non-hitting drills are great for these kids that work tracking, balance, body control, the things that you really have a hard time coaching.
Kids can now come in and they can play right away and get into game-based stuff and stuff that they enjoy. We're not barking in instructions, we're not waiting in lines.
As they get the hand-eye coordination and they produce the correct movements, then everything else falls into place, and as they grow, their game grows with them.
All those things in a sport are more important than the technical skills at first, because that teaches the kid to get in a position to hit, and they can play and you can compete, and then they're hooked. They love it, it's fun, and from there you can start adding the skills. In the past it was backwards. We worked on the skills and then hoped that eventually they'd be able to move and compete, and now we get them moving, competing, and then work on the skills as we go.
Kids feel like they're good at tennis right away now versus before when they started on the full court. They get to hit one or two balls and they swing and miss. Now they're starting off and they're able to be successful right away.
It's engaging, the classes are for the kids, especially I'm thinking about my daughter particularly right now. She loves it, it's fun, and she doesn't even realize that she's exercising and that she's building all these core skills that she needs for all sports.
It's amazing to see not only her but the rest of the kids. The level of play looks very professional because they are playing on these smaller courts.
Some kids are playing good shots, some kids are pushing the ball, but I think the most important part what I've seen is they're loving it.
Fun and fundamentals are the key. Once they get these foundations, their progress builds pretty rapidly. Now when we come back, we see how effective exercises and equipment sized right for kids helps them develop great skills and a love for our sport. So now that the kids are feeling comfortable and familiar on the court, they can start hitting and playing on the right size courts. This helps with basic tactics and improves their instincts for making the right moves. They also tend to want to play more, which is a win for everybody. Think about it for a second. Every other sport sizes equipment and environments for kids. In basketball, they shorten the hoops and have smaller balls. In baseball, kids start off hitting off a tee. In soccer, 5-year-olds are playing with small balls and small goals on smaller fields. It just makes sense. The same logic applies to tennis. Now at this point, the most important thing is to get kids comfortable and having fun. Show them good technique in attainable proportions, and they'll be playing the game well and having a blast before you know it. And the numbers back this up. The participation is skyrocketing.
When you started a junior class of young kids, you had 15 to 20 kids starting. You probably kept maybe 2 or 3 of them in the competitive phase. We're keeping over half of the kids playing tennis now. Our 10 and under program is bigger than it ever has been.
You know, I think tennis missed the boat for a long time. Even the time when I grew up was, you didn't even think about starting the game until you were 10 or 11 because nothing had been modified. It was very difficult to swing a heavy racket, to hit a regular ball on a full-size court was difficult. And now, you've got kid-size equipment on a kid-size court, and I think is the only way to go.
The days of simply waiting in line to hit a ball are over. Young kids need constant movement and constant action. 10 and under tennis keeps coaches interacting and guiding kids on a whole new level, which keeps them engaged.
The way it's changed is actually for the better. I can have a lot of kids going, no one sitting out, no lines, no lectures, just let's get out there, let's hit as many balls as possible. And it's been very beneficial.
So instead of standing there and having to wait in line feeding, we walk around as coaches and we just talk to them behind them while they're hitting and encourage them. They just have to be engaged and feel like they're accomplishing something.
I can see how this is so smart that you bring it down to where it's just a little bit higher than what their independent level is that they can do with a coach. Then they can go back and independently work, and that's how you make progress.
The kid-size courts, I think the modifications that have been made are very responsible for allowing those progressions to take place much quicker than they did before.
By making courts and equipment kid-size, kids are learning skills a lot better, a lot earlier. Just ask the coaches and parents. They see the improvement, they see the fun that their kids are having.
They look like super champ players versus the kids that came out of those beginner programs before look like they were still beginners.
They come to the net, they serve and volley, they know how to approach, they know how to go back for a lob. Their whole game is there, the strategy is there, and then as they grow, the equipment will grow with them.
Proportions on the court and the size of the racket and the slower balls creates a better environment for learning and developing tennis players.
You do it a few times every week and you'd be surprised, and they start bouncing and catching with one hand. So keeps the flow going, the momentum going, and it's fun.
Now I know how to hold the right grip, and I'm aggressive, and now I can hit overheads, volleys.
In kid-sized tennis, you've got kids who are doing things now that they were never able to do before this.
The leaps and bounds where he's making progress, that's amazing. He was able to hit volleys and overheads, and he was so excited to do that after, so it was like very fun for him. What he was trying to learn on the small court, he was executing it, and he was really proud of himself.
They're playing with red, orange, and green balls that bounce lower and move slower through the air. Tennis rackets are sized for small hands, making it easier for kids to grip and swing. Courts are smaller, so kids can cover them and have more success when they play. These changes in equipment encourage faster development and better skills. It's just amazing to see what these kids are capable of on these smaller courts. And we know that success breeds success. When we come back, we'll see how that positive outlook extends towards competition. With youth tennis, kids are able to apply great tactics and have fun while they do it.
You can actually teach these kids to put pressure with big angles because they get the racket head acceleration. You teach them to compete at the net, put away overheads. You can even do serve and volley. It's actually entertaining. It's fun to watch because there's a lot of things going on in a match when before it was really just moon balls at a beginner level. Now you got pretty much every skill you can think of. Drop shots going on, big slice approach shots, passing shots. It is a very dynamic game now.
They can attack from the corner, they can go cross court, they can come in for a short ball, they can move in and volley, which they weren't able to do with a real ball in a regular court. It was just too fast, too much space to cover, and too hard.
In kid-sized tennis, you've got kids who are doing things now that they were never able to do before this. They actually can chip and charge. They're serving and volleying. They're hitting more overheads. You just never would see an overhead on a traditional size court. Kid-sized tennis has made them become more well-rounded players at a much earlier age.
I'm an aggressive tennis player, and I think the kid-sized courts have helped me do that. It just helps me go for my shots, serve and volley. I'm comfortable with doing it now because I've learned to do it on the smaller courts. It's just you don't have to cover as much, and it's easier to come to the net.
When you get into the game, and a lot of times you saw, both players really kind of lobbing the ball back and forth, and so they're hitting the ball up above their heads. And whereas the kid size friendly, you get a little bit more truer game with the younger kids because the ball, no matter how high it's hit, is kind of bouncing into their hitting zone.
You're seeing all court points, drop shots. It looks more like a version of tennis that you would see on TV.
Several critical changes have made tournaments for kids more user-friendly. Matches now consist of 4-game sets, which keeps them short. Now, most 10 and under tournaments can be played in one day or even half a day, making competition far more realistic for everyone's busy schedules. The goal of these new tournaments is to increase competitive participation for our kids.
It's set up where it's not overwhelming by the tournament officials, and again, as much as competitive as you want to take it or make it individually, I think those aspects are all there.
And that's one of the great things about our sport. You learn how to control emotions. There's no one out there to take you off. Like if you're misbehaving, you're out there alone. So you have to control your emotions. You learn how to problem solve out there.
I think the competition is really important. It allows them to do well and be successful. We get better rallies. The parents are more interested in the game. The children are more involved in the point. And it makes competition that much more exciting. They have that excitement to move to the next level also.
If I win a point, it makes me smile because I know I'm doing good.
I'm a competitive person. I always love the competition. You just get to choose how you're going to play, really.
Whenever I have the chance, go for the shot.
It's a learning process, and it has been great to watch him improve and learn from each thing, and we always have to have a talk after. Okay, we didn't win, but what did you learn from this situation? So the fact that he's able to call the lines, stand up for himself, remember the score.
The one thing I do like right now, at least my daughter's at the 10-year-old level, and I do like that it's all wrapped up in one day.
We're looking to create the right environment to create better tennis players and better people.
Sportsmanship is everything. It's character defining.
After a match, I always shake hands with my opponent so I get to know them. I always shake hands with my opponent. It's a respectful thing to do,
I tell them good game, you play awesome. You have to show them respect that you did your best and you tried hard.
You have your parents on the sideline and you have your opponent's parents on the sideline congratulating, both kids on good shots during play. And I think that's something that that the kids see that, and so that's something, a lesson they kind of take with them.
Win or lose, they came out and they played.
So sportsmanship is probably the biggest part of their development.
When kids play in this kind of atmosphere, they get better. The game gets better, and we all benefit. I've seen parents who are absolutely amazed at the positive changes they see in their kids, both on and off the court.
I can tell both of my kids just have more confidence, and they're able to stand up for themselves when they call lines and talk with adults, with referees and umpires, and I just think that's a really important skill for them to have as they get older.
Lessons is not only forehand, backhand, volley, but he's learning life lessons. So definitely he has to, first of all, he has to learn to accept defeat. That's a major thing if you can learn in life.
I've been amazed watching other kids in the programs and just how quickly they can master a skill and just jump on to the next one at their age. But again, I think the kid-sized courts, I think the modifications that have been made are very responsible for allowing those progressions to take place much quicker than they did before.
So now we have kids who are moving great, making shots they see their idols making, and they're really enjoying the competition. It's fun and it's exciting. What have we got now? Huge increases in 10 and under tennis competition with better players who are going to stick with and improve the sport while pushing others to get better. It's really a great way to make good players even better. It's total tennis, the all-court game, hitting every shot, not just the easy ones. Tennis is so much more exciting when they're working the court, playing the net, and having sustained rallies.
The kids now are actually becoming better players much more quickly than they did in the past. It's exciting as a coach because I can teach much more aspects of the game, broader aspects of the game, more skill sets. I think it's exciting to the parents to see their kids scrambling around, being aggressive at the net, finishing points instead of just waiting for the opponent to make a mistake. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see where these kids are going to be in the next few years and how they're going to be playing, but I think it's going to be a more all-around game, and it's very exciting as a coach.
They're rallying, they're coming to the net, they're hitting overheads. It's just on a very, very small scale, but overall, the quality just as good and just as exciting.
I'm amazed at the quality of tennis that these kids play. I've got little 4-year-olds hitting with a loop forehand, getting under, brushing up on the ball, and hitting topspin.
I'm looking at the skill sets that we're able to teach on a red court or an orange court. The transition skills that a kid would never use on a full-size court. You didn't see those develop until they were 14 or 15. Kids are learning those at 9 or 10 now.
You're seeing kids gain confidence that aren't the best athletes. And that spills over into other aspects, and we talk to other parents and you can hear it. I mean, they are so grateful that there's some activity that their child can do that really brings out some joy for them because they're able to have some success.
But they're having fun, similarly depending upon how they're trained. Some kids are playing good shots, some kids are pushing the ball, but I think the most important part what I've seen is they're loving it.
It's fun because you can hit a lot harder. It's easier to play, and then once you're ready, you can move up, and it helps you improve a lot.
You get to play tennis and meet friends. Tennis is part of making friends, meeting new people.
I think it's gonna be I want to play it forever because I really like the sport, and I want to keep playing to get better at it.
These simple changes in the way kids are learning and loving the game is really evolving tennis for kids. We've seen a major increase in 6 to 11-year-old participation.
I think it's incredible. It makes it so much more fun for kids to play. They don't have to carry the racket with 2 hands, and they can just enjoy, with the balls, and then to make that transformation into more professional sport.
This new rackets court will help a lot.
It's great to see kids being so thrilled to play tennis, to hold the rackets, and to smile. I mean, that's the most important thing.
You don't go to a youth basketball league and see them playing on 10-foot hoops. Normally they're prorated down to 6-7 feet. So, now that we're kind of starting to do that in tennis, it seems smart. It seems sensible.
When you have a racket that is bigger than the kid, then it's going to be very difficult. But I think definitely those small changes will definitely help. And I used to play on a small court as well growing up.
I think it's good, I know that, obviously with the normal ball, sometimes they, especially here in America, you play a lot in the hard courts. The ball can really bounce really high, and then because when you're so small, sometimes and then it's heavy. The racket's maybe too light for the ball. And like this, it's pretty simple, the racket's never going to be too light for the ball, and you can really swing through the ball.
Thanks again for watching. For more information on 10 and under tennis, be sure to visit USTA.com or USPTA.com. 10 and under programs are exploding all over the country, and with new kid-sized courts being built every day, there is sure to be one near you. I will see you on the courts.
If you need more help with your game, contact a local USPTA professional.